Welcome back to GolfN. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You'll notice that I'm on my own again, mushy, still in Florida, enjoying the lovely weather and the golf over there. So for today, I'm going to be talking about how I plan to fix my swing during the winter. Now straight away I know what you're thinking, Posty, you're a 20 handicapper. How can you tell anybody how to fix a swing and how to fix a slice? Well, today I'm going to be sharing the components of the swing that I'm going to be working on based on what my coach has been telling me. Now, my coach is a senior PGA professional coach, so I'm going to be using his guidance to share a few things with you guys to see if it may help one or two of you with your slice. Now, you'll know that I pretty much slice every other drive.
And there's the slice.
So it's something that I really want to work on over the winter because, as many of you guys will relate to, you don't want to be changing too much in your swing during the summer when you're actually out on the course every week, because sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards and it can really ruin your game. So we're going to go through a few different parts of the swing, a few different components, and get this slice fixed. Let's do it. Component one starts with the backswing. We'll start at the beginning of a golf swing and work our way through. So the first thing that I'm going to be working on to fix this slice is when I'm going back in the backswing, I really want to be creating width. That's generally the aim of this. So as some of you may have noticed, I've got a lot of wrist movement going on. So you may notice the club comes like, rather than going wide like this, you know, I'm wrapping it around my body. It's more towards, would you say, like I guess a 3 o'clock or a 2 o'clock angle if we're looking at a clock there, which is, as an exaggeration, not very good. So what I'll be doing is aiming for 11 o'clock in the backswing. It's going to feel like 11 o'clock anyway because I'm going to really over exaggerate it, and I want the club face to be a very similar angle to my spine when I get to this position. This is going to really help me prevent that slice from coming in, because you know the more you can do earlier in the swing, the less likely that the slice can have a huge impact. So using that clock analogy, I'll be going to around 11 o'clock from there and then moving into the next phase of the swing. Okay, so the second component of this backswing now, we're creating width in the early stages. And now what we want to do, so just to paint the picture of what I do, I'm going back, I'm wrapping it around the body and I'm getting into this position. Now you'll see the club is way over there. And from this position, a lot of the reason people slice it is because they've put themselves into a bad position. From here, they really need to send the club over the top, something that people call casting, to get it back into a decent position. So when you come from here, you cast it over the top, and then you cut him right across the ball, because you're going to have to go from right to left across the ball. And for the football fans out there, this reminds me of Roberto Carlos. I know he's left-footed, but you're cutting across the ball and you're going to get that motion where it slices around the wall. And I'll put a clip on the screen just so people know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's pretty much the same kind of motion that a lot of slicers do. They come round there, over the top, and then across the ball, and that's what we want to cut out. So once we've created the width here, we're going to move from this position, again with another clock analogy, to what feels like 12 o'clock, much more up rather than around. And then from here, we don't feel the need to cast as much. And from here, we can create a better angle of attack to the ball, which takes us in to the downswing. We have got the backswing intact. It's so weird me saying this, like I know how to do it myself, but I'll get there. And now it comes to the downswing. So that, again, there's two components to the downswing. And for me now, this is another analogy, because sometimes, you know, people explain things differently and it just clicks for some people, and then other ways work for others. So that's kind of the idea here. So we've created the width, we've got to a better position at the top. It might not be perfect, but it's better than where I was as a 20 handicapper. And now what we want to do is create the lag in the downswing. And one thing that really resonates with me is a motion where you're ringing the bell. Now what I mean by this is these hands are coming down, I'm ringing the bell. So rather than kind of coming over the top in the old casting motion, we're coming down and then through. So that ringing the bell is what you would do at the top. You come down and then you're coming through in the swing. And then again, this is just another component. Because you're so conscious of ringing the bell, it stops you from coming over the top and casting, which then creates the slice. Let's just do a quick recap now. We have moved to 11 o'clock, we then get to 12 o'clock, or what feels like it, we've rung the bell, and now how do we finish the swing? Well, one thing that again resonates with me from what my coach has said is, you imagine, right, and I'll kind of go with the camera here, you've got a mansion in front of you and there's a window in the top right. That is where you're kind of aiming with that club path. And you may think, well, every ball's going to go right, but that's actually not the case because of the club face. The idea of the mansion window is that if you are casting, again, going back to this motion, over the top, from here, you're coming across the ball to like what you would imagine to be the left window of the mansion, like that. You cannot, from that position over the top, hit it towards the mansion's top right window. It's just impossible unless the club face does some really funky stuff. So if we get into a much better position from here, ring the bell, it's so much easier then to kind of keep the club nice and close to the body and then fire it towards that mansion window. So if you're doing them 4 components and also committing to the strike, and that's a big thing for me, a lot of the time I'm kind of on the back foot, all my weight's back, and I'm kind of, you know, opening the body up, leaning back, going like that. You know, Mushy said to me a few weeks back, my driving was a lot better whilst we was playing around, and a lot of it was down to actually committing to the strike, finishing the shot rather than just, you know, hitting the ball and stopping and kind of letting it just happen. You know, really coming down and finishing the strike made a big difference. So I feel like those 4 components are going to put high handicappers like myself, people who slice the ball naturally, in a much better place. Okay, so just as a quick recap, once again, there's 4 stages to this. We're creating width in the backswing to 11 o'clock. We're coming up to the top. We don't want to be at 2 o'clock. We want to be what feels like 12. We want to ring the bell to create the lag, and then we're going for that mansion window whilst committing to the strike. That's basically the 4 components. Now, I know golf is a lot more complex than this. There are so many moving variables and small details that are going to impact your swing, but I think these 4 components, generally speaking, one, they make sense to me at least, hopefully they make sense to you guys as well, and then you can practice these and just reduce the damage that you're doing. You know, if you're doing this, my coach has said to me time and time again, you may push the ball, you may pull it, but you're not going to slice it, and it's that damage limitation that's going to really help you keep that score down on the course next year. So I'm not going to practice right now because we're on a chipping green. It's probably not good practice. But one thing I will do is continue to share my swing improvements, my swing changes in the Discord over the winter, and we'll see where we are next summer. So that pretty much wraps up this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Now, let me know if you want to see any other kinds of tutorials, tips. Of course, Mushy will be leading the way with these ones, but as a natural slicer, I just thought, you know, I'll share this. Maybe it helps 1 or 2 people. That's good enough for me. But yeah, like I said, join the Discord, like the video, subscribe to the channel, more content coming through the winter, and I'll see you in the next one.